Bitcoin and blockchain. So that course also I found very interesting.
Yeah, that's how I pretty much started, was just YouTubing. Hi Zestily, I've forgotten which real person is behind your handle.
Carol.
Carol. Hi Carol.
That's all right. How are you? Sorry, I was a bit late. Friday nights are a bit awkward for me these days, but I anticipate where I can.
Yeah. It's a busy schedule at the moment, isn't it? We've got things going on left, right, and centre.
Yes, there's sure a lot going on there, and I still look at myself as a beginner. I'm not at all confident on lots of things, but I'll get there step by step.
Okay, very good. So I think Yannicki's joining us for the first week as well. You were in last week, but he is a developer, works in Python and Java primarily. Is that right? And he's just finished studying and he's got a job in London. So he's joining the call because he's interested in blockchain development and that sort of thing. So we'll cover any Q&As that either of you have at the moment about Cardano or anything like that. I'm yours to mine.
Well, I've been sort of spaced out a little bit. When I've got some money in Cardano that is in my Euro wallet that we stake with that, or whatever Luca told us to stake to, and I don't even know. Honestly, I do not know whether it's still staked. I think it was 2 years it was going to be locked up, wasn't it? Or is it 1 year or 5 weeks or?
If you've done it with Cardano, it's with the native blockchain, so moved it into a wallet like Daedalus, Yoroi, Eternal, Nami, one of those wallets, then you're not locked in at all. So that's one of the beautiful things about staking on Cardano is there's no lock-in period. You can spend your ADA anytime you want. You hold on to the keys, so nobody else owns it. Nobody else can spend it for you. And it's and you can use hardware wallets and everything like that. So you can do it as securely and as self-sovereignly as you want. You stay in charge the whole way through. Even if you stake to say Fluid Pool, which is my pool, you can move to another pool to get their staking offers, and there's like a 5-day window, and that's it. That's your only sort of restriction, just when you're staking from one pool to another. But other than that, it's yours to do with as you please, and even within that, you can spend it at any time. So it's really flexible.
Okay, so Jonathan, I do still have some Cardano in Binance, and I want to get it out. If I wanted to stake it with you, can I do that through MetaMask, or is Yoroi because I do have that wallet? Where should I move it to so it can be staked?
Yeah, so the best ways to move it from Binance into so Yoroi would work if you're using that already. And then there are others as well. But if you're using Yoroi, that's fine. It doesn't have all the best feature sets anymore. It was one of the first, and it's sort of fallen behind a little bit, but it does the job. It does the job absolutely fine. So yeah, you can go into your Yoroi wallet, find the receive address, and then in Binance, you would go to your ADA holdings and send it to that receive address that you pulled from Yoroi. And it'll all happen on the Cardano blockchain, and your tokens will turn up in your Yoroi wallet, and then from within Yoroi you can specify who you want to stake with. So on the staking tab or delegation tab, you can search for Fluid, and we should turn up.
Okay. I will do that because everyone keeps saying, get your damn stuff off the exchanges.
Yeah, that's the big drive at the moment. The exchanges seem to be falling left, right, and center, which is scary.
Have they really? Have there been some crash?
So, I mean, with the fallout from the Terra Luna, which is a stable coin, that has created a knock-on effect. Lots of the centralized exchanges had invested heavily in Terra and Luna, and so they've lost a lot of their liquidity, their ability to service their debts. People who hold coins with them. So the knock-on effect of that, as well as the price crash across stocks and crypto, has meant that the liquid or the amount of holdings, the liquid positions of the centralized exchanges has become, the smaller ones are struggling, the larger ones are still doing okay. So Binance and Kraken and are doing okay. Even Coinbase in the States, which I think is the largest one in the States, is laying people off because they're running out of cash flow, which is quite alarming. So yeah, so this is the big drive. Move your tokens, your crypto, which is so. I get a bit philosophical here as well, because cryptocurrency should be about self-sovereign, being in charge of your own holdings. It's like going back to holding gold. You own the gold. It's in your safe. Nobody can do anything to it. No one can take it away from you, except by force. So the same should be true of the cash that we hold. Now, it's not in the fiat system because it's all in banks, and if there's a run on the banks, they can fail like we saw in 2008. So the difference with decentralized crypto is that you hold the keys. So move it away from the centralized exchange, which are great, very useful part of the system, because they allow you to move your fiat money onto the centralized exchange. They're willing to buy your fiat in exchange for the crypto that they hold. But then once it's on that centralized exchange, you can move it to a decentralized chain, and that way the centralized exchange, even if that fails, you still hold your crypto. And that's where the safety lies, the security lies in these volatile markets. Nothing can destroy the crypto that you hold in a decentralized blockchain, except if the chain itself fails. So then it starts to become about looking at which chains you want to put your holdings in. So there's a big difference between the Binance Smart Chain, which is a very good chain. There's a difference between that. There's a difference between that and say Solana, which also is a very powerful chain in terms of features. There's a difference between that and Ethereum, and between Bitcoin, and between Polkadot, and I mentioned Cardano last because it's the best in my opinion. So that's the one I've chosen because it has features that supersede all those others. So Binance is great, except it's centralized. So there's a lot of power in it held up in Binance entity themselves, which are a private corporation. Solana is good technology, but has fallen over several times this year. It's behind schedule all the time in terms of its clock, which technically is a very bad thing. It is also heavily backed by venture capitalists who are prone to market swings as well. So in my opinion, it's not as secure and safe as it could be, even though it's very fast and powerful. Then you've got Ethereum, awesome, long-lived, second largest, loads of functionality, but really expensive to use if you want to have a look at the fee structure. It's very expensive. Bitcoin, oldest, best, most secure, will be around forever, fully trust it, but doesn't have an awful lot of functionality. And then you get to Polkadot and Cardano. These two are doing really well. They're third generation. They've got whole load of new functionality. They are secure and stable. They are not heavily venture capital backed. So the money is distributed between operators of the chain and some of the founding members, and the rest is in public hands. And Cardano tops out just because of its adoption and its founding. Its founder has got the right ethos in terms of Charles Hoskinson really wants to empower the individual, to let people hold their own crypto. He's also got a vision for beyond currency to functionality like decentralized identity and working with existing nation states and governments to create solutions that empower people, not systems, purely systems. Yeah, he wants to see Africa do really well, which I love the idea of having the wealth be distributed more evenly across humanity. And yeah, so Cardano is where it's at for me, and that's why I'm here. And some of the features like the staking setup is just superb, and that's why, as a company, I've set up us to run a stake pool and to provide blockchain services, all based around the Cardano blockchain.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, long answer.
And so on the ADA system or Cardano system or wallet, they can only have ADA in them, can't they? You can't transfer other coins there at this point, can you?
You can't transfer some, and you can't do it in the easy way, like just sending your money from Binance to Yoroi. But there are ways now of having other assets on the Cardano blockchain, like Ethereum even. So this is one of the technical advantages of Cardano as well, is that they've really worked hard at making their chain interoperable, which means it can work with other blockchains through so like the biggest asset it has is an Ethereum virtual machine. So that means that all your Ethereum based assets, which is the largest in terms of decentralized tokens and things like that, can actually run the contracts, the program cells can actually run now on a virtual machine that actually supports Solidity, which is the Ethereum code. You can actually support those applications running on Cardano. So effectively, you've got Ethereum programs using Cardano's cheap fee structure and stable platform. So you can actually move your Ethereum onto Cardano if you want to. It still costs you because there's an Ethereum cost. You're still interacting with the Ethereum blockchain, so it costs you quite a bit in terms of fees, but you can actually move your assets over now, and people are starting to do that. That's the primary people who are offering that as a service are Milkomeda, which are a very strong team. Some of the founders in that actually came from Emergo, which worked on the Yoroi wallet. So been around this for a long time, really technically savvy, fully supported by IOG, which is a company that actually build and write Cardano. So they're good guys. Also Wing Riders, who are another company offering interoperability with Ethereum blockchain and others. And they are a very good team as well. They did some due diligence on another DEX that launched on Cardano. They spotted a bug in it, and they reported it. They sort of like hacked it. They reported it to the team, helped them fix it, and then told the community. So they've shown themselves as good actors in the market, and so yeah, I trust them as well. So Milkomeda and Wing Riders are guys to look into. They're quite interesting.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so Yannicki, we were just starting to talk about where your sources of learning are. How much are you into Cardano? How much have you heard? And you're saying you've picked up on Gimbal Labs already. They're a really good team to get involved with.
So I haven't started studying Cardano as a programmer yet. I think that the first time would be actually today in the Haskell Coffee meeting.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, that looks good.
But I've been following Charles Hoskinson since 2020.
Nice.
Quite been listening to his YouTube videos.
Yeah, he's an inspiration, isn't he? It was the whiteboard talk that he gave in 2017, I think, that got me hooked. I saw that first, and I've just been like, okay, I need to keep listening to this guy. And I only listened to him in 2020, but yeah, the talks from 2017 was phenomenal. So yeah, Carol. In fact, if you haven't seen that yet, that's a great one to watch and go and get inspired. It's a bit technical, perhaps, but great one to get inspired and meet the man behind the chain. So have you been in any sessions with Gimbal Labs yet, or spoken to anybody?
Yes, I have been in a couple of sessions.
Cool.
I think it's quite interesting how they share what they're doing.
Have you met James Dunseith? He's the sort of main guy down there. He's a great guy. Yeah. James was one of the first people I was in a live call with, group call in Cardano back in 21. It was a book club they were running, and he's just struck me as such a good communicator. He's a school teacher by trade, but he's a programmer as well, and his communication is absolutely top notch. And there's not many people I've heard speak who can communicate complex themes as clearly as he does. So to have him in the space is phenomenal. And yet, yeah, I've said that again and again. The most intelligent people, most savvy people I've met in the tech space, I have been in Cardano. Really have attracted a lot of really strong people. They're great. I've just dropped a couple of links into the so Discord now has a in voice call chat feature, which I don't know if it popped up for you, but you can actually get to those by hovering over the voice channel and then clicking the little open chat icon. Yeah, I've dropped the links in there, and they do seem to persist beyond this call. So there's a history there as well. You can find all our links from these talks now, which is useful. And that's to Wing Riders and to Milkometer that I mentioned, Carol.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah, Yannicke, how do you know Juliana?
I was invited to join a mentor and mentee program, and I have to give a description of myself. And they read my description, they matched me with Juliana. And she was my mentor.
Was that with One Up, One Down? Or
no, that was with Cheating. It's a Bulgarian society, I think.
Right, okay, yeah. Well, that's very cool. Juliana is one of the most bestest human people I know. She worked with me for several years, just after she studied in the UK, and yeah, I think she'll go really far. She's very switched on. She's enthusiastic. She's got such a go-getter attitude. She won't say no. She won't have no said to her on anything. She's brilliant. Was she useful to you in mentoring?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think I was very intimidated by the process of getting a job, and so I was considering going back to Bulgaria because it would have been easier, but she motivated me to go for the harder route to start looking for a job.
That's good. Yeah, put yourself out there. I fully agree with Juliana, and you know, she's testimony to that, because she came to me with a CV for a completely different industry. She was doing architecture, landscape design prior to that. She'd studied design and came to me asking to learn how to code. So I was like, well, I like your attitude. You can come into the studio voluntarily and just be around us, and if I can make use of your design skills, hopefully. But like within 3 months, she was producing work that was earning money for the business, and I started paying her. So yeah, it's all about attitude. Go into any workplace, show that you're keen to work, you're keen to put the effort in. Even if you don't have the experience or the skills that they are looking for, you can make a difference just by being the right sort of person, you know, presenting yourself well. So she's testament to that, and she's advising you the same. And yeah, don't veer from that, you'll do okay. That's what I've found in life anyway. Superb. Very cool. So any technical questions about Cardano that you're curious about, or
what is the work that needs to be done to run a staking pool?
Cool. Yeah. So if you have Linux skills, so if you can set up a Linux machine, run services on it, then you are perfect for running a stake pool. If you are comfortable on the command line, then again, another good qualification for running a stake pool. If you're not savvy with that, then there will be a learning curve. And there'll be a learning curve anyway, but it's very doable by anybody who's technically minded with a bit of perseverance. So, specifically, you need to run a block producer and at least one relay. So that's 2 servers running on the internet, and on those you will run the software that is the blockchain software itself. That will interact with the network in particular ways. So the block producer stays hidden. It can only talk to your relays, and it's your relays then that interacts with the full network. So the block producer is the only one that actually lets you create new ADA. So that mints blocks, but it stays behind your relay. Your relay is the one that's responsible for actually communicating with the network, for taking the block that you've produced, if you've been given the opportunity to produce one, and then it distributes it to the network, and the network will accept it if everything looks kosher, and then you earn rewards. So that's what technically happens. Cardano is a proof of stake blockchain rather than a proof of work. So whereas on the Bitcoin blockchain, your servers would have to be beefy, have really heavy ASICs, either ASICs machines or strong graphics processors to actually process the transactions, because you're using computational workload to give you the right to mint a block. You're basically in competition with compute cycles to see who produces blocks. On a proof of stake blockchain like Cardano, you're relying on people earning trust in the network to have then humans, stake their ADA holdings with them as an individual, which then gives them the right, based on how much trust they've managed to accumulate, how much ADA they've managed to attract, gives them the right to mint new blocks. So that's the primary difference between proof of work, proof of stake. So if you can, and that's the other really technically challenging, or the other challenging part of running a stake pool, is you need to be technically proficient to a certain degree, and you need to have a very keen mind for security and running servers 24/7. And then the other big part, which a lot of people underestimate when starting out as a stake pool operator, is you need to have a lot of communication skills, and you need to be able to market yourself and attract trust. So finding yourself connected to a network of people already is a good way, who trust you, is a good way of getting started, who are interested in cryptocurrencies. So I've been operating in this Genius U entrepreneur network for 5 or so years, and people know me in there, they trust me, and I obviously hold a lot of technical knowledge about Cardano blockchains, development, software, that sort of thing. And so as they start to invest, they earn money, they invest it to make more money, passive income from their holdings, rather than having to work every hour to earn money, which is, both sides of life should include those paths, in my opinion. And so that's the way that I'm hoping to grow my pool, is through educating people and being a good actor on the network. And I spend a lot of time working on Cardano community as well. So that's another great thing about Cardano, is it has this project Catalyst. So 20% of fees that are used on the Cardano blockchain are carved off into a treasury. That treasury then is used to fund the growth of the Cardano ecosystem. So it funds $16 million worth of ADA every quarter, roughly. It's about 3.5 months. You've got a funding cycle where $60 million is then distributed to anybody who can write a proposal to build something involving the blockchain or matching the agendas, the missions of the community. Everybody who holds ADA then votes on those proposals, and you can be given a grant of money to then go out and fulfill those proposals. And this is a really good way of growing the ecosystem because it involves governance, it involves communication, it involves creative ideas coming in. It's got innovation funding for anybody who's got bright ideas, and so you're attracting bright minds, you're funding them, and you're getting things built that the whole community, the whole ecosystem benefits from. And it's a really good way of generating community. So as far as I can see it, the Cardano community is the strongest of all the blockchains out there. Combine that with the number of stake pools that are running, it says over 3,000 running, and that's a really good formula for well-distributed, decentralized, community-backed blockchain, which are very important to longevity of a network. So these were the things that I looked at as I was choosing a chain to operate in. And Cardano was the strongest that was even 2 years ago, before we had any functionality like smart contracts or no decentralized exchanges. They just had the token and a lot of whiteboard videos. And in fact, I'm going to pull up that whiteboard video and drop that in the links as well, because it's well worth a watch. It should probably make it a thing I do every time.
The next upgrade to the Cardano chain would be named after a stake pool operator. Have you heard the story about Vasil?
Vasil, yeah. Vasil Dabov.
He was from Bulgaria as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think it's nice to see, because Bulgaria is a very small country. I think London has more people living in it than there are Bulgarians anywhere across the world. So Vasil used to be a stake pool validator, and he was very famous for using his money and all of his earnings to plant trees. And Charles Hoskinson actually visited him in Bulgaria, and they planted a tree together. And now, unfortunately, he passed away, but the next Cardano upgrade is named after him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a huge honor to have a whole hard fork, which is when the blockchain has an upgrade. They've given the name of this particular one, which is a really important upgrade that's coming in a couple of weeks' time. That's they've named it after Vasil Dabov, who is a legend in the community. And he's not technical at all. He had a passion for people. He had a passion for trees, for the ecology, and that's what, So the community lifts people up who are just good humans, not just extremely technically bright. So yeah, I know the operator of Ginkgo Pool, and that was Ginkgo was Dabov's Vasil's favorite tree, and he promoted it wherever he went. He planted, that was a tree that him and Charles planted, I believe. And the stake pool operator who actually technically ran the pool for Vasil is a guy in the community called OCG, or Old Crypto Geek, and he's a friend of mine. He operates in Gimbal Labs as well, so you'll meet him at some point. And so he runs Ginkgo Pool. Since Vasil's death, unfortunately, the family have not got on well with OCG, and so they've carved off a new pool, and there's now two pools operating in sort of that are related to Vasil in some way, shape, or form. So Vasil's family pool, and then there's the Ginkgo pool. Ginkgo is the pool that I rate, just because they had a long working relationship, and OCG is a very good actor in the community. I'll drop links to them, actually. I'll find them on Pool PM and drop links to them both. I like to promote other pools as well who I think are good actors in the ecosystem. Oh, looks like he's retiring the pool. So that's a shame. So OCG looks like it won't be a pool operator for long. But you can see the history of the pool there, going back over time. See how well he did for Vassal. And then the new pool effectively is taking over from OCG is the Vassal pool, which is this one. So yeah, exciting to hear. It's always nice to have something you resonate with, you can connect with. So that Bulgarian link is cool for you. That's a good one. I never got to hear the Vassal speak, or didn't really know him at all, but I do like the connection I have through OCG. It's a good guy. So the other event that's happening at the moment is by the International Academy of Wealth, which is an investment group that are running. They've just had a week of introducing people to cryptocurrencies, free training sessions, and they end at 10 o'clock UK, 9 o'clock UTC. So people from the regulars from this call should maybe start drifting in here anytime now, because there might be some other people turning up. If you've got any more questions, stick them in now. I enjoyed the conversation so far. It's been great. Hello, Rich. Thanks for joining. So anybody get any more questions? There's a gap in the conversation. You want to jump in, Rich? Straight into it. I was just looking at so in over time, a lot of the people coming into this group are interested in staking as one, but also interested in general technology, but also interested in investing. And so one of the projects that combines all those three is Genius Yield on in the Cardano ecosystem. So Genius Yield is a project that I like, particularly because one of the founders on there is the primary educator for IOG. IOG is a company that wrote Cardano. And the guy's name is Lars Brynjes. He's been one of my tutors on the Atala Prism decentralized identity course that I've been on. Very smart guy, and he's a founder of this Genius Yield platform, which is a DeFi platform, so interested in decentralized finance, and they are creating new tech that is coming out over time. One of the functions or features that's grown up in the Cardano staking ecosystem is initial stake pool offerings, where so the staking works on Cardano is that you have your ADA holdings, you stake them with a pool, and when that pool mints blocks, you earn rewards. What you can do with an ISPO is replace some or all of the ADA rewards you're getting for a native token on the Cardano blockchain. So you can, if you see that one of these coins has potential to increase in value over time because of the functionality that's coming in that native tokens project, then you might decide, okay, I instead of receiving my ADA rewards, I'll receive Genius Yield tokens instead, or I'll receive MEL tokens instead, or Sunday Swap tokens. And what you're doing then is instead of earning some ADA, which you know is going to be valuable over time because you trust the chain, that's the one you've decided to invest in, you're going to change that for a known entity with low returns through staking, 5%, 4-5% annually, for this prospective this coin that you don't really know whether it's going to be worth a lot, and it could go up extremely high in value, highly volatile, or it could drop to nothing. You don't really know, but you're taking a risk on it. You're speculating. So these are things that I'm interested in doing, just because I like to have an eye on a project, and if I'm holding some of their tokens, then I'm interested in it. It's a way of keeping me enthused about the technology as well as hoping for some financial reward. So Genius Yield is a project that I talked about 6 months ago, probably. They ran an initial stake pool offering where you could move some of your ADA, stake it with them, and in return you get some Genius Yield tokens. And they've just released a platform to actually check how much your rewards were. So I was looking at that with some of the guys in the community earlier. So I'll drop the link into the chat so you can have a look at that project as well if you're interested in investing in higher risk reward tokens in ADA. That's one to perhaps have a look at on the Cardano blockchain. So the only way to get hold of that token now, because the ISPO is wrapped up, is to buy them on a decentralized exchange. So you can find them for sale on MuesliSwap or SundaySwap or MinSwap or Maladex or Wing Riders, or there's a lot of dexes out there now, which is great to see. I like MuesliSwap. It was the first, and it's an order book model. If you want a full automated money making model, AMM, then look at SundaySwap or MinSwap, or Maladex. These are good guys too. But the Genius Yield project has some potential good features coming out, one of which is an automated yield optimizer. This is where you will take your, for example, what you might do is say, I'm going to hold some ADA, and I'm going to buy some of these other tokens, so maybe some Genius Yield tokens, and we're going to offer that pairing for liquidity farming or yield farming on an exchange. So you're handing over the rights to those tokens. They're still yours, but you're handing over the management rights of those to these platforms, who will then use it as liquidity to buy and sell, trade those tokens in pairs on their exchange. That is a really high reward strategy in crypto, but also extremely high risk. So you can lose what you put in if the volatile nature of those tokens plays against you. So it is a good way of making some money, but it's high risk as well, so not for everybody. But the interesting thing about Genius Yield is that they're doing a similar feature on their DEX, but they have found a way, they say they've found a way, programmatic way to diminish those risks. So the risk that you're particularly susceptible to is called, I forgot my terminology. No, it's gone completely from my mind. But
Permanent loss.
say again.
Permanent loss.
Permanently impermanent loss. Yes, that's the one. Thank you, Yannicki. So they've found a way to programmatically protect you from impermanent loss on yield farms and liquidity platforms. So that's an interesting thing. They've got a complex white paper that I don't fully understand, but I really trust Lars Brynjas because I've had training from him as an individual, and so I wanted to get hold of their token because I think that has potential. So I got into the Genius Yield platform, the ISPO, with a small portion of my holdings. I don't put much in these ISPOs because I like to spread, but I do like to spread my interest and spread my holdings around the network to a certain degree. The majority of it's in Fluid Pool because that's where my my investment long term is. That's where I see good growth. But you could actually, if you didn't get involved in one of these Genius Yield ISPOs, then you can check what your rewards are now, which is quite interesting. So I'll just grab the link for that and drop it into the chat as well. I dropped the link to the platform just to see and read. You can find links to their white papers, etc. But in fact, I'll just link to the Hangout channel where I talked about the sorry, no, it wasn't Hangout, it was in How To channel, where you can see how to check your Genius Shield rewards. And I'll drop that into our Hangout live chat, which is a new feature on Discord. So if you click that link, it'll take you to the how-to channel, and you can find out how to go about checking your rewards. I've been on there, and apparently I'm a hodler, and because I was part of our SPO for the second longest period that was possible. I didn't manage to do it all. I got in a couple of weeks late. But they reward you with an NFT, a non-fungible token, which means there's only one of it in the world. That's normally what it means. By holding that NFT, it will give me, if I participate in their DEX, then I will get slightly better rates by holding one of their NFTs. And so I've been awarded that NFT by being part of their ISPO. Yeah, so all these functions, all these features are things that are interesting. They keep stuff moving. They create a flow of value in the blockchain. So they're useful to see. They're good to see happening. You don't want to get involved in all of them because some of them will go to nothing. But yeah, the ones that you trust and you've had recommended, and then they're good to at least evaluate yourself. Do your own research, of course. And yeah, these are all just me sharing my experiences, my opinions. None of it is advice, of course. So who's got involved with anything like yield farming or liquidity farming? It's very high risk. Has anybody got any exciting stories to share of returns that they've seen or ways they've been burnt? I'm equally interested in. And yeah, of course, any Cardano questions are I'm up for.
Well, I've handed over some dollars to Mark at AAW to get into some yield farming, but I haven't done anything yet. I've looked at yield nodes, which is I think that's what you're talking about. But yeah, so I haven't invested anything there at this point. But yes, it is higher risk. But if you're in, you're in.
Yeah, that's kind of my attitude to it as well. It's, you know, I've held it at arm's length for a long time because it's risky and I'm kind of risk averse. But the fact that I'm into crypto at all means that you know, I got in 2021, but I started to invest more heavily into Cardano, and I dabbled in it for the previous year, just holding small tokens on centralized exchanges. When I learned about decentralized exchanges, about Cardano's benefits, then I started getting more serious about it. And now, like you say, when you're in, you're in. So I need to expand my learning all the time. So liquidity, pools, yield farming are things that I'm starting to look at as well. And yeah, interesting that Mark is, I think IAW have done some training on it as well, haven't they? Or had a course?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, yeah, I do actually want to get involved with IAW. So I'm just going to get some capital together first to do that. That's not going to damage my crypto holdings, and then hopefully sign up.
There honestly is just opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and you just sort of you feel like you're missing out on something all the time if you don't have the capital available. But you just have to have those money rules, as they keep talking about, established, which I haven't got fully established, and just assess everything and make sure you're balancing what you are investing in, so that you've got that longer term picture. But it's very tempting, a lot of these options they bring up.
Yeah. Yeah, so they have a whole portfolio of things that you could get involved with. and you have to make your own choices about what you actually get into. Is that right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So find
But
things that
it's
resonate with you.
most of it's, of course, wholesale level type investing. So, sure, there might be, some people might say there's higher risk involved, but there's also higher returns that because of that. I don't even think that there's higher risk because there's risk in everything you put your money into. But if you can go and invest more at a wholesale level rather than the retail, you have to get a better return anyway. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yannicki, do you hold crypto? I guess if you're interested and have been learning and listening, you've probably got a little bit now.
Yeah, so I did get burned in the UST Luna Cash. So now I'm somewhat paranoid to take on risk.
Yeah, it is. It's a painful experience getting burnt, but a valuable lesson to learn. And the earlier that you learn,
I paid a big price for that lesson, but I'm happy with the lesson. I think I could have paid a much bigger price if I did things differently.
Yeah, I mean, that's the concern for me, is that there are really respected people out there who got burnt in Terra and Luna. So it's you can't trust the opinions of even really seasoned professionals in the crypto space. And so so far I've been fairly safe, but where I have been dubious or questioned myself, I've only put in tiny amounts, and that's I'm happy with that approach. The high return, I'll go for small amounts. In fact, one thing that has irked me a little bit is not following those money rules. I'm not creating those money rules like you were mentioning, Carol. So I did get in early in 2021, and there was huge growth up to September time, the summer, across all of crypto. And so some of those projects I got an awful lot of growth in, but I never sold any of them. So then the crash happens, and and I now have to wait. And who knows how long we'll have to wait before those rise up again. And some of them will, some of them will not make it. But getting out is something I haven't learned yet. So, and I've had good training on it, and
that's where I am. But I didn't invest early last year. I invested from September, October, November, December. So right up there, because there was a lot of suggestion that we were about to embark on a growth phase, and of course we've experienced the reverse. But I haven't lost 1 ounce of sleep over it, because I think, well, it's a long-term strategy, so that's what it's all about. But I must admit that from here, because I used to do some trading years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I used to do CFDs and FX, and but it's such a long time ago, when I've been too busy raising family and all of those things that you do, that a lot of that skill is well and truly locked down in the grey matter somewhere that I need to resurface. But I'm absolutely going to be doing a lot more chart reading and actually buying in and out of the market into the future when I've got more funds to put in, so that I use that knowledge that I've had in the past to my advantage, rather than just holding, because that's what I did. I didn't sell anything, and I should have done. I knew I knew the market was turning, but I didn't expect quite what we've experienced.
Yeah, it's something else. I mean, you look at the charts historically going back to 2013, saying you see spike, crash, 95%. And then 2017, spike, crash, 95%. And you think, oh, it won't happen again. Not this time.
Now it's a spike.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, so we probably should have spotted that and done something about it. But yeah, like you say, Carol, I'm in it for the long term. I'm very happy with. So the way I evaluate is the underlying technology, the nature of the tokenomics in particular. So how much is VC backed, how much is community owned, how much was distributed, how much was held by the founders. These sort of factors in a token are how I determine whether I want to get involved or not. And if there's a whole chain that's technologically sound underneath it as well, then I'm interested. And so far that's done me very well. I did hold some Solana. So I do hold. Oh no, I may have ditched all my Solana actually. I do hold Solana, but with the technical problems I've had this year, I'm out of Solana as well. And I was in a Luna earning program because I hold. I've got a crypto.com account, and I use that to onboard some of my fiat. And they had a program that you could earn Luna by staking, and so I did hold some Luna, but I got that for free in my mind, and I lost it all. So it's not. Yeah, you just write those off as it was worth a shot. But yeah, if Cardano does the same thing to me, I'll be very distraught because I've now, and it's not so much the cash that's gone into it, which has been manageable all the time. I don't invest anything I can't manage. I kind of live without it, but it's the time and effort I put in now that I'm seeing as the bigger investment into Cardano, because I've been in and around the community heavily, hours each week, for a good year and a good year and a half even, and I thoroughly like the space, so I want it to succeed, which probably blinds me to a certain extent to some of these projects that are coming up. You become too trustworthy in a platform that you love, but with a bit of external perspective and new faces coming in, sharing with me, hopefully we'll stay safe.
Yes.
Yeah. So, if anybody hasn't seen yet, the Fluid Stake pool has a mission, which is every day you stake with Fluid Pool, you get an equivalent day of internet delivery to or access to ICT for Ethiopian students, and that's my mission, because I like to tie my personal missions and drives to my activity, so that I'm not just in it for the money, I'm also in it for others. I like to give as much as I get, and so that's Fluid Pool. So any day you do stake with Fluid Pool, you'll be helping an Ethiopian student get by as well. And I've been collecting the figures for that. If you go to pool.fluid7.com, then you can see, let me drop that into the chat. You can see our latest statistics. So this is, I've tied my, hi Robin, welcome. Hi Paul.
Hello.
Hi. I'm just saying about the stake pool. So I tied, hi Paul. I stake my, every day we stake with Fluid Pool. I give a bit to, through B1G1 to Ethiopian students. And Let me share screen. That'll be easier. So this is the website related to the pool. It's very sparse. I need to do better, particularly as I'm a web developer, but this is what we have for now. So you can find statistics on how we're doing in terms of our giving impacts. So we've given 2,000, I can't do maths in my head, 1,170 impacts in quality education, 1,170 in reduced inequalities through the project we're giving to, which equates to about $500 of giving so far since the pool started. And I'm doing that. I've separated the giving out from the profitability of the pool because I wanted to be able to give regardless of whether the pool was a success or not. So basically, if you delegate, then I give, rather than if we make a profit, I give. So the more people that come in, the more we'll be able to give, which is what I want. So I'm all good for you sharing with as many people as possible. And if you hold any ADA, I'd like you to consider delegating to Fluid Pool. And you can go to this site, did I drop it in yet, to check the stats. And you can go to this site to see how we are doing as a pool altogether. So this will show you Pool.pm is a blockchain explorer, Cardano explorer, and you can see if anything I'm telling you is the truth or not by going and checking it on chain, which is the beauty of Cardano as well. And I'll drop a link to Cardano scan as well, so you can see the rewards that Fluid Pool is earning. So last week we minted our 4th block, which is great, and means we're being particularly lucky as a pool. We're minting more regularly than we should be, statistically, according to the algorithm. But there's a luck filter built into those algorithms, so that's what we're benefiting from at the moment. And that means we're doing well. And every time we mint a block, then you earn your rewards 5 days later, approximately. So the rewards for the block we just earned will come out in about 4 days' time, because we're partway through the next epoch. An epoch on Cardano is 5 days, and it's like the heartbeat of the network. Stuff happens every 5 days. So this page, which is taking me a long time to get to, which is shared on screen share, will show you the reward structures, the fees of the pool, and you can see the block production on there too. Let me drop that into that. So every time you see a spike on this chart, that's where we've minted a block, and the rewards that are paid out are the green line, the block production is the blue line, and then the size of the pool is the yellow one. We've just managed to get ourselves onto registering on the chart. The chart increments between 0 and 63 million, because that's how much a single pool can hold before it's saturated, and then the rewards start to diminish. If you've getting onto the chart means you have to have above 0.001%. We've done that now, 0.01%. So we're now onto the chart, which is great. Yay! So the more stake we attract, the more rewards we'll earn. And so just to show this chart, so we can see we actually are earning rewards, and you can verify that on chain. And you can also inspect to see how many delegators we've got, how much people have got staked, and any pool updates that have happened. These are where I've increased the pledge on the pool. Having a large pledge on a pool is good because it means that the operator has got stake in the game. They're invested in the project, and they're not going to disappear, and they're in it for the long term. And then also, just technically, we're running the pool correctly because we're minting blocks, and that's proved by being given the right to mint another one. So there we go. So the new regulars that have joined us, welcome. How was your IAW sessions? I almost wish I was in there.
No, I'm there, Jonathan. No, it was great. Actually, really good. So I'm sorry. I don't know if you saw. I did drop a note to you in the chat on Luca's session to say that I'd be joining late.
I did see that. Most people did. Thank you very much. You're all very polite.
Yeah, that's all the credit to you, Jonathan, for getting another
I was
blockchain
interested in the
into.
comment you made on Luca's session, Jonathan, about how to stake directly on the Cardano blockchain. Is that effectively what we're doing with the fluid staking pool, or is there another method?
No, yeah, so we're doing it native to the Cardano blockchain. So the only other way of doing it is on an exchange or in some of these wallets that offer that feature. So I think Exodus allows staking on Cardano, but they're not actually doing it as native. So you're giving your ADA over to the Exodus team to then stake. And if you're on Binance staking ADA, you're giving it over to Binance to then stake. So the only way to really do it decentralized, to retain your own keys, is through staking it with a community pool like Fluid Pool. So yeah, we're doing all the things, all the benefits I mentioned. That's what we're getting.
Are you familiar with other blockchains at all, Jonathan? In terms of because I've added yet another action to my to-do list now, which is to research how to stake directly on other blockchains. Because as well as holding ADA, I've also got Solana and Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Polkadot. So I'm just wondering, kind of with my main holdings, it would be good to be able to stake those directly.
So I'm familiar with, well, I'm not familiar because really the only one I'm staking with are Cardano and Harmony One. I worked very hard to try and get my staking sorted out on there, but I'm not even sure if I did that correctly. I hold very little Harmony, but I do like it as a blockchain. It's technologically, I think it's very good. I haven't mentioned it this call yet either. Probably, to anybody, but I do like Harmony. Ethereum staking, I didn't get involved with. I do hold Ethereum, but I don't stake it. I do actually hold some Ethereum. I did, for a while, hold some Ethereum on centralized exchange with crypto.com, and I was staking with them. The reason I avoided staking on Ethereum chain itself, as in natively staking, was because there's a long lock-in period. And I'm very glad I didn't do that now because
you're right. I've forgotten about that. Actually. Yeah.
So the long lock-in period, and in fact, there's been stories out this week, which I probably can't relay accurately enough to be saying it, but from what I could see, there's issues with Ethereum staking because the method they were doing it, they were using an entity to manage the staking, and that entity is now in trouble. So the whole Ethereum staking thing seems to be a bit shaky. Extremely long lock-in periods, and in the meantime, there are far better rewards to be had on Ethereum. So I can't hand on heart recommend that. The other one you mentioned, Polkadot. I haven't looked at staking on Polkadot, but my hunch, if that's worth anything to you, is that it would be good, because I like Polkadot technology as well. So that's definitely worth researching. The other one was
Solana. Well, I'm not actually that happy with Solana now, given what what Lucas said about it, and also my own research. So I'm probably going to, sell that at some point. So so my main ones are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, and I've also got Chainlink as well. So that's those are my main holdings. And the other smaller ones I'm also bothered with because I just stake those on Binance, because as Luke mentioned, it's too much hassle and it's too expensive to kind of move them off the exchange, and I've only got small holdings in them anyway. So I might as well just stake them directly on the exchanges.
Those small holdings when there's complex staking procedures going on, and sometimes it's just it's philosophically
I've got literally $100 at the moment it's probably worth about 20.
Philosophically, I will always endorse, if you're on a decentralized blockchain, then stake on chain, because you're supporting decentralization and self-sovereignty of IDs. But I also don't want to see the centralized exchanges fail, because they are very important, very valuable for the foreseeable future in terms of getting any fiat over onto DeFi platforms. So we need that bridge, that intermediate, which are centralized exchanges. So supporting them in some way, giving them some of our holdings, a small amount, get it off there if you can, is fine in my books, because they do a valuable service and do need to hold some liquidity to stay performing what they do. So giving them an opportunity to earn is not a terrible thing, but there are distinct philosophical advantages to getting off if it's worth the effort.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
Chainlink is good as well. I think they're an oracle, so they form a valuable service in terms of connecting blockchains to real world applications. And so Chainlink is a good thing to have around, and supporting them with it by holding a token is great as well. I don't actually hold any. I did hold Solana. Again, I sold all that because the same things. I wasn't happy with the performance of that chain. They've had several outages this year, and so timing is really important on a blockchain, because that's the only way you can verify which block that's being produced holds and verify and validates those transactions correctly. So on Cardano blockchain, if my stake pool is not minting a block and distributing it around the network within 5 seconds, that block is likely to be rejected. So that's the sort of, your time has to be accurate. You have to be distributing within 5 seconds, and everybody works from a synchronized clock effectively. So if you're not able to do that, then you're in trouble. Now my train of thought is completely gone. I had a phone call come in. So yeah, the Solana blockchain has actually been like 4 hours behind, I think. So how they're verifying that the block production is happening correctly and being distributed, and the records into the chain are valid, is a little bit beyond what I know. I just know that it's a bad thing and it shouldn't be happening. So hence I've dropped out of Solana. And they seem to be driven by a lot of venture capital, and venture capital is fine, but it drives behavior in a particular direction, which is high returns, high risk. They're looking for an out, basically, VC backed things. So yeah, community participation is a far better metric for evaluating a chain than VC funding.
Thank you. And the other thing I'm looking into as well is NFTs on Cardano as well. So again, it's on my list of things to do. I haven't actually started yet, but I'd like to explore the NFT space a bit more as well.
Yeah, NFTs are fascinating. They have baffled me entirely for a good 9 months, until I finally bought one. I was like, oh, I quite like holding this.
I actually, joined. I was on a company or organisation called Successful Launches. If you've heard of Veronica Tan, based in Singapore.
Okay,
But they promote a lot of events for people like Tony Robbins and T. Harv Eker and others. And they actually did a recent event all about the metaverse and NFTs. There was a chap there who created a game called The Golden Goose, based on Aesop's fable of, so it's a really fun thing to do. So I've just taken part in that, so I'm actually going to be minting my first NFT, on the 23rd of June.
Nice, very good.
And but the goose.
Well, I hope it goes well for you and your goose lays an egg.
Well, that's it.
In fact, I've been researching lately about NFTs, and I think the one that I want actually has created some desire in me. Is Unsigs, and I could have got in on the original mint, that ended a long time ago, and since then they've done really well in terms of value. But I do like them for a technological reason. So I'm just going to share the screen. So, and I've dropped the link into the chat as well. So for you guys who just dropped in, Discord now is a feature where there's a chat within the call, the voice channel. So you can access it. It should have just popped up for you, I think, but you can access it by hovering over the voice channel, and then there's a little open chat icon now, which is new, very cool feature. And the chat persists, so even if we all leave the call, you can go to that icon and get back to the history. So we'll probably do that from now instead of having the Hangout channel. I'll have the Hangout for now anyway. But
where's the history on that then?
Sorry, John, I can't see it either.
so if you go to
I
the
saw it. I clicked on it. It worked. But
okay, yeah. So to get the chat up on screen, if you hover over the Hangout voice channel in the list of channels, and then they've got 3 icons. One of them's a new one, little open chat. Click that, and it should bring the chat up on screen for you to then see the history. So
And does that save then, Jonathan? So is that so even when this call closes, does the chat stay up or does it close with the call?
yeah, it persists, so we can get back to it
Oh,
anytime,
brilliant.
which is great. Yeah, useful.
where does it register when the call is stopped?
So you can get to it by, so even if we've all left that voice call, you can still hover over the Hangout voice channel and click the open chat button.
Oh,
And
so
it will
this
show
is
you.
going to be one long chat for every voice
Yes,
hangout.
yes. So a bit like we've got with the text Hangout channel. That was the way you sort of had to manage it before. The downside to the text Hangout channel is that you have to click it to read it whilst you're in call, so then you're not seeing what's on the screen share or videos. Then now you've got that combined with this voice chat, which is useful. So it's more like Zoom now, which is like the best of both worlds really. So we'll see how we'll get comfortable with it, and then see how we go. So anyway, I'm sharing screen on the unsigned algorithms.
Just scrolling back on your chat, and you can see that I did have FOMO, because you discussed Wing Riders and Multimedia and Genius Yield, which I wanted to know about, so I will have to go back and read all your links.
Well, I've actually experimented with recording the call for the first time, so we'll see whether it's worked well enough or not, and then I might be able to you might be able to rewatch. So yeah, I'm screen sharing the unsigned algorithms, or I was probably screen sharing OBS now. But, this is a technically interesting, pleasing project to me, because most NFTs are programmatically produced, so they kind of mash up cartoon characters with various parts of a body. This one's taken a different approach. They also, most NFTs just reference an image that's stored off-chain. So if that off-chain storage disappears, then you lose your image that's on the NFT. So it kind of makes NFTs pointless, really. The majority of them. There are lots of ways that people are working to improve that situation by creating persistent online storage, like Arweave, which is sort of a mashup between file the globe what's it called, the interplanetary file system, IPFS, which is a very good storage system, but it is not 100% persistent. Arweave is now a blockchain, integrated blockchain with that tech to create persistence. In fact, Arweave is a good token to get hold of, I reckon. That's one I'm interested in. I haven't managed to get hold of any yet, but yeah, that's an aside. So unsigned algorithms have taken a different approach. Instead of relying on off-chain storage in any way, shape or form, they've actually coded the production of their artwork into an algorithm, which they then store on-chain. So you can never lose these NFTs. The only way you'll ever lose them is if the blockchain disappears forever, which it won't, because every full node is a copy of the blockchain, so it can always be resurrected by a single machine. If the world collapses, there's only one machine left holding the blockchain, we can still get the whole history back again. Beauty of blockchain. But these images, which you should be able to see on screen now, are algorithmically produced. So effectively, they've done gradients of color between one point and another, and then they've applied algebraic formula to them to create changes. So they've either transformed them, turned them on angles, or applied curves to them. And then they've taken those parameters that produce those functions and stored them within on-chain. These parameters are then, and that's what's stored in the NFT, and these parameters actually refer, one of the metadata fields in that NFT refers back to an original NFT, which actually is the code that then you can apply those parameters to resurrect the production of your image, which I thought was really clever, really clever. And the project was well through to start with, and the guys behind it are a guy called Monad, or Alex, and he is a Haskell developer. And then there's Patrick Tobler. He is the founder of NMaker, which is another project I've talked about here in the past. Another good token to have a look at. Together they produced this unsigned algorithm NFT launch as the second one on Cardano, I think it was. There might be others, but it was very early on. And it's been adopted massively. And so now people are actually taking variations of these. They come in different values of complexity, and they're taking the simple ones and buying 4 of them or 8 of them or 16 of them and creating grids that then create new patterns and new shapes. And so you can almost have collections of NFTs, and you've got this art collection having more value than the single piece on its own. So it's got this progressive path for creating quite interesting art. Functionally, technically, very secure and stable. They've got an advantage over traditional NFTs. But then they also got this collection functionality as well. So you can actually create additional scarcity in them by creating a collection, which then increases their value over time. And so they're only available on the secondary market, so you can have a look at JPEG Store for that. That is my opinion the best NFT platform on Cardano at the moment. And you can go and have a browse and see what floats your fancy. And I think unsigs are on here as well. Maybe it needs a full name. No, there we go. So you can see what's available. The prices are quite high because it's a popular product, but there is some advantage to having a decent holding, because if they've proved doing well in the past, then they may do well in the future. Sorry, Yannick, you trying to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say that I remember looking at this project very long time ago when you could still mint it officially, and I think it was either 25 or 50 Cardano.
Yeah. It was absolute peanuts. So you can see the price appreciation just in these, going from 25, 50 ADA up to 4,500 is a pretty good appreciation in your asset. This one, 53.5, hasn't actually sold, but that's remarkable. And you do get these outliers in NFT projects that just trade through the roof. Now, there's all sorts of due diligence you need to do on NFT projects and marketplaces, because some NFTs are being used definitely for money laundering. They're a good way of a project inflating the price of an NFT by buying it themselves, selling it to themselves, buying it to themselves, selling it to themselves. So do try and do some research, find out about the people behind the project, get their opinion on the current sale price and things like that if you can. It does warrant research as seriously as any other crypto asset, but they are a bit more fun in my opinion. I'm not going to put a load of money into JPEGs on the internet, but they are quite fun, and I do enjoy holding the ones I have bought. And the ones I've bought tend to have been backed by projects. And you can all have a snoop through my wallet. You're welcome to do that. You can find my wallet on here, which is this one, I think. So I've gone through Fluid Pool, find the delegated storage pool, then find my wallet, and you can then browse through the SHIT coins that I've got for free from drip drops. Some very valuable coins like Gimbal tokens, which I'm distributing to you guys. Any stakers to the pool will be receiving Gimbals. And then you can also see my NFTs down the bottom, which are typically community projects that I like the guys I know from the community and that are doing good work. So my latest additions to my collection are tribbles, which I actually got given 3. I bought 1 and got given 3 for free by being in the project. The community projects do tend to do things like this. The Stones of Creation, I got, actually no, it was these Stars of Creation. I got given 1 for buying 5. That project hasn't done very well, so it may never accrue in any value, but I like holding them because they're pretty starscapes. Afrix is support of a mission-based development team in Cardano called WADA, West African Decentralized Alliance, even though they're not just West Africa anymore. Really good guys behind that project, so I support them by buying their NFT. Password Case is Gimbal Labs token. You can still get hold of that, I think. Password's still minting, Yannicky, if you're interested. They did a very interesting thing with their token launch as well. They said that we'll set the price for the initial mint, and they'll have mints in several cycles. The price in the subsequent cycles of the mint is based on the speed of sale of that first mint. So if they don't all sell out, then there's no other mint again. If they do sell out quickly, then the price is high for the next one. If they sell out slowly, the price is low. So it sort of gives you an opportunity to get in on initial mint when the project is dull for cheap, or you can FOMO in when it's doing well, and take your prospect on it, see what luck you get. Fractal DAO was a really fascinating project that I kind of got burnt on in that they rug pulled. The founding team disappeared after it had launched, but I still like them because I kept my NFT. I didn't pay much for it, and then they gave me some money back for it as well because they were feeling I don't know, remorseful maybe for not delivering on some of their promises. But that was exciting while it was going on. Toxica was the first feature film released on Cardano blockchain, so full length amateur feature film. So it's an amateur film, so it's not Hollywood, but I still liked it. Enjoyed actually watching it, and it's the first on Cardano chain, so I thought, cool, let's do that. I think Robin joined me in that adventure, and then I also got hold of some. Yeah, have you watched it yet, Robin? Actually,
No, I have not.
It's worth watching.
And I have the card, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah,
the lady.
Yeah.
You know, the main star of it. And the most education I've done around that is viewing it within my Eternal wallet and knowing where it is, and just organising my one NFT or 2, a film and a card.
Just massaging your collection, just
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my cornucopias, I managed to get hold of some land in cornucopia, and so they try and build scarcity in these NFTs, which I don't quite like because it's creating value from nothing. But that's what NFTs are anyway, so I should get over myself. But anyway, this one I was excited because it came in and turned out it was legendary scarcity, which I don't really know what that means, but it's great. I've got legendary, which is the second best. So there we go. And it's actually land plot in the metaverse. The cornucopias is a big 3D multiplayer universe that will be coming out at some point, and so I've now got a land plot in there. So I'll probably build my Fluid 7 offices on it, unless this rises in value extremely high and I have to sell it. But yeah, that's all good fun. And you know, NFTs are a bit rubbish at the moment, but they're growing in functionality. They're getting better all the time. There's interesting things out there. Innovative, clever, creative people are putting thought behind them. So yeah, there's some good things to get involved in. Good things to have a look at. Enjoy your foray, Archie. I'm sure you'll find something good. And if you do, come and tell us about it.
I have a question.
Sure.
I agree, Jonathan. Thanks.
So my question is back onto the Fluid 7 pool and the staking and the rewards and the gimbals that you're talking about. I successfully restored some wallets this week, which is a step forward for me.
Well
I went on holiday for a week, didn't touch my laptop, didn't do anything, have everything closed, came back and all my browsers were gone, like the extensions. So I'm not sure what happened while my laptop was off with no power. But I don't know, some reset in the hardware, I don't know. Anyway, I had to wait to go and get my seed phrases because I'd put them away in a safe place far away from my house. So for a while,
well done.
I was like, oh my god, is all my funds safe? But then got my seed phrases, restored them, and gosh, that was really rewarding to do that, to know that that was decentralized and
Your process has worked.
yes.
Yeah.
But it also gave me a little flutter of scare with that whole thing about use your seed phrase, use your funds. I was like, oh my goodness. Anyway, I reconnected in Eternal and then saw that there were some rewards in the Fluid 7 pool, and the withdrawal reward says the rewards are automatically part of your delegated stake. There's no need to withdraw rewards other than sending them away or to have them count towards your Catalyst voting power. So I thought, okay, well, I think I understand that a little bit, not fully. So I thought, well, there's no harm in claiming rewards, especially as they just sort of like compound into the balance. So you've got total available, you've got the balance of the rewards. I clicked on the claim rewards within my Fluid 7 pot, so to speak, and it just changed balance sheet, so to speak.
Yes.
That is an ADA. When you say the gimbals, and you've got a link there that I haven't looked at yet about claim your rewards here, where do the gimbals, is it only ADA that you can have on a Cardano wallet, like Eternal? I mean, I haven't moved any other currency onto there yet, so that's why I'm asking the question. So those rewards I earned there, were they different rewards to the rewards you're talking about with the gimbal?
Yes. So, most stake pool operators are now having to offer more rewards than just the ADA rewards that come from the Cardano blockchain themselves. Because there's a competition between stake pool operators, you need to attract the trust of people that stake with you to be able to grow large enough to be able to mint blocks regularly, to then attract more people, to then mint blocks more regularly. And so the profit of the pool operator is dependent on the number of people that come, which is the way it's designed. So you have to have a competitive advantage over another pool. So one way of doing that is that most pool operators now are offering tokens other than ADA as rewards, as well as an additional reward. So these are bonus rewards. How they get hold of those additional tokens are either they create them out of thin air themselves, which may have some value down the road, but 99% of them will never have any value. And they might offer those as rewards, or they get involved in a community project like I have done to get hold of Gimbal Labs. So I was part of the tokenomics working group that works on this community token that will be used to be able to operate in certain ways within the Cardano community. So I see it as having a lot of heads invested in the production of that coin, in the tokenomics behind it, and in the distribution. And the idea is to get it out far and wide. So I think it's got a good chance of becoming valuable, certainly within the Catalyst ecosystem, hopefully within the wider Cardano ecosystem, and maybe as a cryptocurrency in its own right. So I've been able to get hold of sort of a founder allocation, not founder, but a early participant allocation of those, which I'm going to then use to reward you guys who delegate to my pool. I haven't.
When you're looking at staking and choosing your delegation, yeah, is the ADA rewards that are there then advertised? So if you're looking at Fluid Pool, you see the fees, you see the ROS, E12, I don't know, you see the percentages, and you see the pledge that you put in. Is that sort of like the standardized Cardano platform you created your pool on and then ticked some criteria, and then that's what gives that. But you can't see
Bonus
or
rewards.
know about the gimbals unless you're involved with you and Fluid 7.
Yes, yeah, exactly right. So how much and how fast I distribute those gimbals are under my control. They're not under the control of the blockchain. They're not coded into the blockchain.
The ADA rewards that are automatically happening in my wallet are because I'm delegated to your pool and part of the Cardano bigger platform ethos.
Yes. So the blockchain itself is guaranteeing those rewards and guaranteeing the distribution of them. So I can't withhold the rewards from you, the ADA rewards from you, my delegators. So if I was malicious, I ran a big pool, got loads of attention, and then decided to just pull all the funds out, I can't pull anything out other than my pledge, which I've put into the pool. I can't stop the rewards flowing out every epoch to all my delegators, and that's the security and the stability of Cardano as an infrastructure, and that's the advantage over centralized exchanges and things like that. Because
then a statement that says there's no need to withdraw your rewards other than sending them away, that's like if you want to withdraw and take them off, like maybe you have a strategy where you're needing that mission, so to speak, or interest, or have them count towards your Catalyst voting power.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Now that they're in my total available balance of my little Fluid 7 pool, does that give Fluid 7 more voting power, or is that me voting power?
Yeah, that's your personal voting power, and I was not aware of that. This is something new you've informed me of today, which is very cool. So I'd love to see where you read that, and I can follow up and spread that news a bit wider. Because I to date have not been collecting my rewards and my delegating rewards into my balance sheet on my main wallet. So I've just been so in terms of those rewards, even if they're sitting as in the rewards portion of your wallet, that the whole potential value of it still compounds. So that's what I thought was the real benefit of, the only reason I would want to pull them in is to get the compounding, but that happens automatically. But actually now that's a valid reason to make sure that I collect my rewards, because I do want to use my voting power.
I've got 2 wallets that I am learning from, in that I've got them. I created the first one in Yoroi, and then also reflected it or restored it in Eternal. So it's the same wallet, and then I want to see what the 2 different interfaces look like to see, just to understand. And I'm finding the Eternal one, that is the one where I can see within your account, so when you're in the wallet, and then the account tab that you're in, and then to the slight right underneath the graph, it says withdraw rewards. And that's where it's got the statement that says all rewards are automatically part of your delegated stake. There is no need to withdraw the rewards other than sending them away or to have them count towards Catalyst voting power. But you don't see that on Yoroi. You don't see that statement on Yoroi. Well, I haven't found it on Yoroi yet.
Right, yeah. That's brilliant. Eternal is a community-built wallet by a few individuals. One guy in particular worked very hard on it alone for a long time. Yoroi is the backing of a massive corporate, and Eternal is such a much better wallet than Yoroi now. It's incredible, and this is born out of Catalyst funding, to a small degree, to start to just get it going. He's not asked for more, and he's created a really good product. So this information, this education that's coming out of it is great. So withdraw rewards, so to have them count towards your Catalyst voting power. Brilliant. I hadn't seen that before. That's news to me, and I will now be collecting my rewards across all my wallets. So that's a reason for doing it.
I thought from an admin point of view, obviously it was okay to leave them segregated as what you initially put in, and then to see the rewards as you earn them. And on one hand, that is interesting if you're, like you say, not using them for voting powers, which I'm not at the moment. I was just playing with the platform, Eternal, and seeing what it did and how long it took for that and what happened when I claimed the rewards, because I was interested about the gimbal thing, and I was like, oh, if I claim the rewards, does the gimbal appear?
Right. Yes.
Hence, that's where my question. So now I understand that really the ADA staking or the Cardano staking delegation list, that is the Cardano platform, like the big ethos and the big Cardano thing. And then, like you're going to explain, hopefully, how we're going to get the gimbals, that will be visible wherever our receive address was, effectively.
Yes. Yeah. So, like I've shown you on pool.pm, you can see the NFTs in your wallet on there in a nice, tidy, easy way. You can also see it in Eternal. In fact, I can screen share this browser. So I'm now going to stream my Eternal wallet. So Eternal's got some nice features, like you can set NFTs in that wallet as the background for the wallet or as the icon for the wallet. So I've got my stones of creation and my stars of creation as my icon on my wallet for this staked ADA wallet. And yeah, in here you can see the token list. You've got summary, which shows you what your rewards are, how much you're holding, where you're delegated, where you've been delegated in the past. But you can also click on token list and see the NFTs in that wallet too. So this will show you a bit of detail, a bit more detail even than on pool.pm, or certainly on a single screen. It shows you a bit more than pool.pm. You can find it on pool.pm as well. But yeah, really, really good things. So when I get round to sending you your Gimbal tokens, they will appear in here. If you want to see it in your Eternal, Yoroi has a slightly, it does have a token view, but it's pretty poor. Or you can see it on a blockchain explorer like pool.pm. Now, the reason I haven't sent you your gimbals yet is that I'm wanting to. So one of the beautiful things about the Cardano blockchain is that you can minimize your transaction fees by doing multiple transactions within a single transaction. Sounds crazy to anybody coming from Ethereum, for example, but on Ethereum you could do one transaction is one transaction is one transaction. On Cardano you can actually do multiple outputs for a single input, and this is the UTXO model, which Bitcoin also uses as well. So it's got a technical advantage, which you will hear shouted as a disadvantage, but it's not. It's an advantage. It's just people need to learn about it, and the functionality is starting to get now. So like on Cardano, someone did 100 transactions within one transaction, all for like this 5 ADA or something, transacting 100 different wallets. That's up to now to 196. And then I was shown on Ergo, which is a proof of work UTXO blockchain that uses the Ouroboros consensus protocol as well, that Cardano wrote, that has done, I want to say 2,000 transactions in fact. So the abilities is growing all the time. So anyway, I want to take advantage of that. You actually use EU2XO model, extended UTXO model in Cardano by sending out my gimbals from one send going to multiple wallets. And so I wanted to get to 10 registered delegators before I send it out. Now, so far, there's only been the 5 of you that have registered as a delegator and then gone through to verify on Discord. So for anybody seeing this, if you get in that top 10, then you'll be getting an extra bonus of gimbals. Then I'll break it down into more regular distribution, but they'll be smaller. So get in early, be an early adopter, be one of my OGs, and you'll get extra gimbals. So that's why you guys haven't had yours yet, and there's not a lot you can do with them yet anyway, so there's no detriment to you. But yeah, I'm going to use this UTXO model to send them all out at once when we get when I hit to 10 verified delegators on Discord. So that's a call out.
Another question about gimbals. They're not NFTs, they're tokens / currency.
They are fungible tokens as opposed to non-fungible, correct?
They're not going to appear under this token list as like these pictures that you've shown us. That's what I'm curious about, seeing some sort of other currency other than ADA.
They
No,
will show there as well, because they are a native token rather than a primary token. I don't know what you'd call it. So ADA is like the coin of Cardano, whereas
Blockchain.
the Cardano blockchain, whereas Gimbals and Bison tokens are native tokens in that they reside on chain. Their tokenomics are coded into the chain, like ADA's tokenomics are coded into the chain, but they're not the first currency that the transactions are paid in and everything like that. They're a native token that built on top of it that can be generated by anybody and everybody. So they are fungible in that so a fungible token is like a currency. So £1 coin, $1. Every dollar can be exchanged for another dollar. That's a fungible system. A non-fungible is when you can't exchange one art piece for another art piece. They don't have the same value. People will value them differently. If you're selling a Picasso or a Monet, they'll have different values. You might want to do a swap, but that's only between those two people. You can't go into a bank and exchange your Monets for Picassos, whereas you can for a dollar for a dollar.
I kind of see ADA as being like the godfather of the blockchain token Cardano or something. You know, like it was Cardano as the company, the primary, not a subsidiary, like the primary corporation, and their currency is ADA. And then they invite everybody else to come and use their blockchain, like Gimbal and things like that, and therefore they create their tokens, which are native tokens to Cardano, but they're not ADA, they're not the origin.
It's a bit like Cardano is Europe, and ADA is the euro, but then you've still got other currencies that operate within Europe, like what do we have anymore? Pounds. That's probably about it. So yeah, and they are not native tokens to Europe. But they're accepted and exchangeable. So that's how effective it is. And anybody's allowed to become a nation and create their own currency on the Cardano blockchain, but you won't ever have somebody creating a new ADA. They'll just have alternative tokens. So like Ethereum has its Ether is the founding token, the fuel that runs everything. All fees are paid in Ethereum, in Ether, all fees are paid in ADA on Cardano. So you won't have fees paid in Gimbals on Cardano. But yeah, it's all good. Well, yes, and I might have to make this the last one because I'm getting pinged by my team asking questions. I need to get on with the day.
That's
but
cool.
yeah.
With regards to Project Catalyst, how do you vote on it?
So you, if you sign up with Cardano.ideascale.com, that will start you on the process. You will need to download a mobile app, so Android or iOS. With your Android phone or iOS phone, you'll be able to scan a QR code to register to vote. If you hold more than 500 ADA, then you are then eligible to vote in the upcoming fund. So I need to do a video on it or something. Let me find a video and send you to it, because it involves mobile as well as desktop interaction. It's a little complicated. And the process does improve each fund, but I'm sure there's someone who did one for Fund 8, and there may be someone who's doing one for Fund 9 coming out, and that will just walk you through the process step by step. I think I've forgotten his name at the moment, but yeah, there's a YouTuber who does videos like that regularly about voting on Catalyst. So his is probably the one I'll send. But yeah, I'll get that link and put it in the chat as well, and you can then follow through. And maybe we'll do it as a group exercise one week, because I like to do a bit of functional work as well as do some learning and some general chat too. So yeah, we'll do that. Well, thank you all for coming along. Really good to meet you face to face, Yannicki, and good to chat to you a bit more, Carol. And you regulars, great to see you. I'll see some of you maybe this weekend if you're out and about in London. There's a Cardano event, social event going on. I think Luca's coming down. Jaya's trying to. Utan might do. So there may be a gathering if you're up for it. And otherwise, I'll see you all next week.
Have an amazing week.
I'm off to North Norfolk, so I'll miss that, Jonathan, but have fun.
Shall do.
And
enjoy Norfolk.
and thanks again for today.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. See you all soon.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.